You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up? Hello and welcome to the Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Well, this was a very Clipper-esque loss as far as I'm concerned. One that really they should not have lost. They have no business losing this freaking game. I don't care how hot the Pelicans were from beyond the arc. The Clippers handed this one over. Just unforgivable when you're trying to move up the rankings, move up the standings rather. And the teams ahead of you, like the Warriors, who are 12-1 with Jimmy Butler, aren't losing. If you can't beat the 17-48 Pelicans, it's just laughable. Too many runs. They started off slow. Brian Siemens like, they came out with good energy and started at an 8. The hell they did. But he was like trying to rationalize it by saying, but the Pelicans started with 15 energy. Okay. It's like, you can't just have random numbers. I mean, that kind of discussion about energy level, it kind of caps out at 10. Clippers did not come out with 8 energy. The Pelicans came out on 10. Like they were full throttle right out of the gate. The Clippers, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. Then it got worse from there. 1 of 16, I believe, was the final number before they started making shots. And the Pelicans, went on a 10-2 run. So that kind of stuff is just not good enough. It's just, you cannot get away with that kind of play. They had 2 5 sequence. I tried to word it so it'd be easy to describe. They had 5 empty possessions 2 different times. So 10 times down the floor in the first half, they had empty possessions. But they did go on a 13-2 run to start the second. Yeah, 1 of 14 from 3 to start the game, not 1 of 16. 1 of 14. I don't know what to feel about that other than just complete and utter frustration. They got it back on track, as they do. They make runs. This game, run. How many? I starred all of the runs. At one point, 11-4 to start the third quarter in favor of the Clippers. That was a nice run there because it was a very big third quarter for them. But in the end, they only prevailed in that quarter 39-37. But huge points, huge effort. Ivica Zubac played fantastic to get them back in the game. Part of that third quarter was a 51-28 turnaround in favor of the Clippers, where they grabbed a 77-75 lead. But I hope you're sitting down for this one, because I'm going to share something with you that's earth-shattering that you've never heard before. The Clippers gave it all back right at the end of the third quarter by giving up a 9-0 run. How are you not able to manage a lead? That's just lazy. I'm sorry. It is freaking lazy. These runs that you give up at the end of the quarter. Listen, I cannot be the only one that notices all of these runs at the end of quarters. Why is it not something that they circle on the whiteboard? Hey, dudes, professional high-paid athletes, ratchet down the defense at the end of quarters. Let's not give up 9-0 runs and 11-3 runs at the end of quarters. It is freaking preposterous, ridiculous, just unforgivable. A run here and there at the end of a quarter is not unforgivable. The amount of time the Clippers do it and blow leads and let the opposition back into the game is unforgivable. Pelicans, start of the fourth quarter, an 18-3 run. Clippers with an 8-0 run to back it up, then a 15-2 run to make it interesting. Runs. I mean, it's nice that they, tonight at least, backed up the runs they were giving up with runs of their own. But in the end, the Pelicans were just too much. At halftime, they were shooting 54% from the floor and 47% from beyond the arc. At the end of the night, they shot 55% from the floor and 54% from beyond the arc. Not all of that is just, the Clippers had a night. I'm sorry, the Pelicans had a night. They were locked in. It's one of those nights for them. They just found their range. They got hot. Yeah, that's definitely part of it, for sure. But another part of it is the Clippers are sloppy and lazy and not guarding the perimeter. How many times did we see them just get open looks? This dude, Jose Alvarado, was dialed. 5 of 6, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc, 14 points. Holy cow. Matkovic, 15 points, a plus 10. He was 1 of 1 from deep. Jordan Hawkins, 3 threes, 11 points, a plus 16. The bench had higher plus minus than the starters. And CJ McCollum had a heck of a game, 23 points. Zion Williamson, wow. I mean, if you're a Pelicans fan, you have got to be frustrated about what Zion Williamson has given you in his career. They showed a stat that he's missed more games than he's played. When that dude is on, he is just tough to deal with. He's a load. I mean, he's big and fast and aggressive, good with the ball. He can't really shoot from beyond 4 or 5 feet, but it doesn't matter. He's so fast and so aggressive above the rim. 32 minutes tonight, 8 of 13 for 22 points. He's hard to stop. And that was a big part of it for the Clippers. They couldn't stop him. It wasn't like their defense in the paint against Zion was pretty much as good as it could be, but Zion was just better. It's like, okay, I don't know what else to do there. I don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. The answer for that would be to play better offense. That's really all you can do. Clippers tonight, 49% from the floor. Not terrible, but 14 of 43 from downtown. 32%. James Harden, 4 of 12. Kawhi, 4 of 8. Batum, who's been really hot of late, 2 of 8. 1 of 4 for Derek Jones. 1 of 4 for Bogdan. 1 of 4 for Amir Coffey. You got to be better, especially when the other team is lighting it up. If you're not going to stop them, you got to outscore them. Here's what we'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
How the hell the freaking Clippers lose this game? I'm sorry. You had the lead. You battled back after a fairly abysmal first half. The defense wasn't there. Too streaky. No ability to withstand pressure. No ability to guard a lead. Just sloppy. That's how I describe this game in one word. Sloppy. It is just all over the place. They couldn't find any rhythm, any momentum in a game they should have won. It wasn't like it's a back-to-back. That's tomorrow. They got to play Miami tomorrow. And guess what? Another frustrating thing. When they battled back in the third, how did they do it? By getting the ball to Ivica Zubac in the paint. Hey, there's an idea. Let's do that more. Because guess why? It's been working. Worked tonight, worked a couple of nights ago. No, they just don't want to solve the riddle the easy way. They want to make it complicated. I don't know if that's Brian Shaw coaching again tonight. I don't know that it would have been any different if Ty Lue was down there. It's just one of those things that we scratch our head and we beat our head against the wall going, why don't they get the ball to Zubac more? I'm not saying every possession, but when you get the lead, slow the game down, find Zubac, and keep it tight. They couldn't do it. Harden finished with 25, 60, 6 of 16, rather, 4 of 12 from beyond the arc, as I said. Perfect at the line, 9 of 9. Zubac's 9 of 12 for 19 points. FD2 Ronnie answering my questions. Because they're the flippers. You know, Ronnie, I say that all the time. I hate to use that as an excuse, but sometimes it's what we fall into. Why do these things happen to this basketball team? Because they're the Clippers. You know, I can't seem to get away from it. Yeah, I could sit here and break down the X's and O's all night long. We will. We'll talk about the player of the game. We'll talk about the turning point. That's coming up next. Also the bucket list. But at the end of the day, quite frequently, that's the answer to the question. How did the Clippers lose this game? Because they're the Clippers. It's a Clipper-like thing to do. Go into New Orleans against a 17-win team and blow it. That's why I'm so ratcheted up and frustrated. The Clippers need to go on a run. That is what they need more than anything right now. 5, 6, 7, 8 games, 12 of 13, like the Warriors. That's the only way they're going to keep up with Golden State. They had a nice run going. They pulled one out of their backside against the Sacramento Kings for a nice overtime win. It looked like they were going to pull one out tonight as well. But nope. Fumbled it away. Not literally, because the turnovers were good. They actually won the turnover battle, 11-19. Wow. They fumbled it away in other ways. 127-120 the final. Clippers now 35-29. While the Pelicans get win number 18 versus 18-48. Actually, the Clippers now 35-30 after this loss. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by SKIMS. What are SKIMS? They are underwear, or as they say in Germany, Unterhosen. Kim Kardashian's brand of Unterhosen. I didn't know that the first few times I read this spot because it doesn't mention that. And I told my wife about it and she's like, oh, I wear SKIMS all the time. They're great. And I was like, I don't have any SKIMS. And she's like, okay, well, how about this? Merry Christmas, because it was around Christmas time. So I got SKIMS for Christmas and they're very, very nice. I love them. I would wear them more if I had more of them. I have a very solid rotation of Unterhosen undergarment from a variety of different brands. Some that I've bought at Costco, most of which I bought at Costco, actually, because they have a variety of brands there. But I'll be honest, this is not because they're paying me, because they're not. The best ones I have in my underwear drawer are the SKIMS. They are the fanciest ones. That's what I wear when, I want to feel uptown. So make sure you check it out. If you didn't know SKIMS has men's underwear and you were intrigued like me, you should go to the SKIMS website. Shop SKIMS Mens at skims.com and the SKIMS store. SKIMS is the official underwear partner of the NBA, WNBA, and USA basketball. All right, Clippers blow one tonight that they needed because they need them all, really, right now down the stretch. As long as Golden State is winning and not losing, and not going in the wrong direction, climbing up the standings in the West, winning 12 of 13, guess what the Clippers are going to have to do in order to keep pace? Got to keep winning. Can't lose games to teams with 17 wins. That's one thing. Another frustrating thing about this is because I think we all kind of assumed, and that's obviously dangerous to do, but we all assumed that this was a win because the Clippers have been very automatic against inferior sub 500 teams. They have won those games, but not tonight. And the reason they lost this game was, to me, one very key stat. Well, two. One offensive stat, and that was shooting from downtown. horrible night from distance. But the other point that kicked him right in the backside, second chance points. And this is a stat that they're top 5 in the league in. They got worked in the paint by the Pelicans, 23-11. That was a huge fumble-rooski for the Clippers there. Yes, that was not what you're looking for. As for this,
time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I made a note at the 2:33 mark of the fourth quarter. I said, if the Clippers pull this one out, this is the turning point. There was a steal where Kawhi just kind of picked Zion's pocket, went down and got fouled. And, Derek Jones got fouled. I believe he missed one of the 2 free throws. But that made it a 4-point game, 117-113. Then Kawhi had a bucket and a foul, and of course missed the and one. Part of 3 missed free throws in the final 3 minutes there. Also, not good enough. In a tight game, you can't be missing free throws. They are called free throws. I'm not expecting you to make every one of them, but they were 77% from the stripe tonight. Not good enough. So I was hoping that would have been the turning point. It was not. The turning point of this game was the final minute of the third quarter when the Pelicans went on a 9-0 run, which turned into an 11-3 run to lead 98-90. After the Clippers had scratched and clawed their way back and tied the game and then even grabbed a lead. That's where it all went south for them, because that's what the Clippers do. They fall apart at the end of quarters. And then somehow, magically, a minute or 2 later, when the next quarter starts, they go on run. They go on runs. That 9-0 run turned into an 11-3 run, turned into an 18-3 run by the Pelicans, but the Clippers backed that up with an 8-0 run and a 15-2 run to, again, keep it interesting, but not interesting enough as the Clippers lose this one in New Orleans at the Blender, also known as Smoothie King Center. I got to give credit. I listened to part of this game on the radio at the beginning in the first quarter, and I got to give those play-by-play guys for the Pelicans credit that they were acting like this was Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. I mean, when you're a 17-win team, I guess that's what you have to do. You just got to take it one day at a time and hope that the next day is better than the last. And that's what they were doing. I was like, how can you be excited about this team right now? I mean, they have 17 wins, but they were playing lights out in the first half. I mean, it was fantastic for them. They just came out of the gates and punched the Clippers right in the mouth. 1 of 14 to start the game for the Clippers from 3. That is disgusting. If you're not making that many threes, hey, here's an idea. Stop shooting them. I know shooters going to shoot. That's what they do, right? No. Find Ivica Zubac. Get back in the game. Get back on track. James Harden's going to find his way. He'll find some shots, which he did tonight, but only 4 of 13 from downtown for James Harden. Kawhi, 4 of 8, 4 of 12. Sorry for Harden. 25 points, though. It's respectable. Kawhi, 12 of 20, also respectable. 4 of 8's okay. 29 for Kawhi to lead the way. 8 rebounds to go with it. Harden had a double-double, 25 and 17 assists for James Harden. Zubac, his 9th consecutive double-double, 19 and 11. As for tonight's bucket list, number 5, James Harden hit a 3 right at the buzzer of the first half. And that was huge for the Clippers. That made it a 10-point deficit. They were down 21. Made a nice run right at the end of the first half, second quarter, and that was capped by a 3 by James Harden at the buzzer with just a few seconds on the clock. Again, 61-51 at the break. Pelicans led, but they were up 21 for a good portion of the first half, and the Clippers to get within 10 was nice. For number 4, Batum hit a 3, one of his 2 on the night. That made it 65-62. That was at the 65-62 New Orleans. That was at the 9:30 mark of the third. Then he hit one about 30 seconds later to make it 73-69 New Orleans. Actually, correction, that was Kawhi's 3 at 6:22 of the third to make it 73-69. Then he hit another 3 at the 3:55 mark of the third to make it 75-72. Those times are wrong. But they were both ISO looks by Harden and Kawhi Leonard, which I haven't been a big fan of late, but they had it working there for a second and they had the momentum rolling and it was kind of a heat check. They were feeling it. So that was, it was nice to see that they came down and didn't waste any time and just took the looks. They were fairly open, kind of step back looks and got it done. So good for them. But it just ultimately, wouldn't be enough. For number 2, Harden had a 3 at the 5:33 mark. That made it 75 all. That was of the third as they were clawing their way back into this game. And then for number 1, Amir Coffey, who had a bit of an off night, 4 of 8 for 9 points, only 1 3, hit a floater at the 7:45 mark of the fourth, which got the Clippers back to within 10. It was 110-101 New Orleans at that point. So to be back in single digits, and again, they had it down to 3 and 4 in the fourth quarter at times, but missed free throws late and just made a lot of mistakes. Gave too many open looks to the Pelicans, had no way of stopping Zion, and in the end, they lose 127-120 the final. Clippers snap a 3-game losing streak with this one. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. We'll do the player of the game coming up next. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast also brought to you by Wayfair. Your home should reflect your style, and with Wayfair, it's easier than ever to make that happen. Whether you're looking for a simple refresh or tackling a big home project, Wayfair literally has everything you need all in one place. We have a couple of rental properties that are Airbnbs across the country, and I would be really, really up a creek without Wayfair. Their website is fantastic. The free shipping is huge. And the app is so easy to use. Their prices are unbeatable, and I'm a huge fan. I use it all the time. I think my daughter just bought something for her room. We kind of did a refresh on her room and moved her bed around, painted the walls, just kind of rearranged her bedroom. And she's like, I need a little something here on the side of my desk, like a little rack to, put my pens and stuff in, hold my junk. And I was like, Wayfair, check it out, wayfair.com. And she found something perfect. It was under $30, free shipping. Fantastic. Head over to wayfair.com and find something that's just your style today. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Clippers snapped their 3-game winning streak, winning a game or losing a game that they really should have won, that we all kind of chalked up to a win in New Orleans, taking nothing away from the Pelicans. They're just not a very good team, but they're obviously way, way better when Zion is on the floor. And he was on the floor tonight and playing intense basketball, aggressive. Played 33 minutes, 8 of 13 for 22 points. Bruce Brown had 12. Messi had 9. CJ McCollum, a good night, 5 of 9 from downtown, 8 of 16 for the floor, 23 points. And Trey Murphy had 21. So they were all lighting it up, filling it up. Again, they shot 54% from beyond the arc, 17 of 31. Former Clipper Mo Bamba played 15 minutes, didn't score. Jose Alvarado was huge for them off the bench, 5 of 6, which included 4 threes, and Jordan Hawkins, 4 of 7 with 3 threes for 11 points. As for the Clippers player of the game, again, it's a tough one for me tonight. Very tough.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I think we have to give it to Kawhi Leonard. His shooting percentage, obviously Zoo, 9 of 12, his 9th consecutive double-double, honorable mention, 16 points, 11 boards, but Kawhi was a little bit better tonight than he's been of late. 12 of 20. So when his shooting percentage is over 50%, that's a very good performance. 4 of 8, again, could have been a little bit better, but all in all, 29 points from him, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, did a little bit of everything, and a plus-minus of +1 in a loss. That's a win. So Kawhi Leonard, a big night for him. Wasn't big enough, could have been better, but all in all, you can't put it on him tonight. He played good defense. At times, I thought the defense across the board for the Clippers looked really good. They just gave up too many points in the paint, and that was largely because of Zion Williamson being such a beast. But, the defense and Chris Dunn continuing to just play hard for his entire time on the floor. He had a +4, 31 minutes, had 11 points, 5 of 11 shooting, 5 assists, 3 steals. I mean, aggressive defensive intensity. It increased across the board for the Clippers at the 6-minute mark. It wasn't just Chris Dunn, but he was the guy that was kind of the catalyst, just active and aggressive all over the floor. Kind of that guy that when you're playing against him, you just get so frustrated because it feels like there's 3 of him on the floor. He's so everywhere, omnipresent. And it has been huge for the Clippers lately playing defense. And again, he did that tonight, but again, you can't put it on one person. I just feel like ultimately tonight, the Clippers missed too many shots and they gave up way too many runs. Yes, they had runs of their own to back it up, but in the end, the Pelicans' key runs at key points of this game were just a little too much for the Pelicans, for the Clippers to handle at the end of the third quarter, to start the fourth quarter, and really at the end of the game. Clippers let it slip away. They had their shots, they had their opportunities, but just couldn't get it done. Missing free throws late in the game when it's a 3-4 point game. You can't miss free throws like that, and you can't miss that many threes and keep 32%, 14 of 43. You're a little better there, you win the game. 14 of 18 from the free throw line. You're a little better there, you win the game. They just, they won the turnover battle. They did a lot of the things that usually cost them victories, but still they lost. As for the other 2 key factors tonight, points in the paint, New Orleans won that battle, but it was close, 60-58. And fast break was a little better tonight for the Pelicans, 18 of 15, or 18 points for them versus 15 for the Clippers. In the end, New Orleans gets win number 18 versus 48 losses. They're 12 and 21 at Smoothie King Center, the blender. And the Clippers fall to 35 and 30, 13 and 20 on the road. Again, back at it tomorrow. A back-to-back in Miami against the Heat, which will be no picnic, although the Heat are not great either. 29 and 35. They're in the 9th spot in the East, but you know damn well they're going to come out and fight hard. Clippers now still in the 8th spot, but now a game and a half back of the Timberwolves, who continue to play well. They've won 5 in a row and 6 of 10. They're 16 and a half back of the Oklahoma City Thunder, while the Clippers are now 18 back, and the Warriors are in the 6th hole, having won 12 of 13, 16 back of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the Clippers a game and a half out of 7 and 2 out of 6. So got to get back on track tomorrow. We might be doing a crossover with good old Greasehopper, the Grease Man, or Grease, or whatever he calls himself. We haven't talked to him in a while since baseball season, I don't believe. So we'll see if we can dial him up and get a little Clippers Heat crossover tomorrow for you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Oh, finally, Craig had a question. When do you do your first Dodgers postcast show? I don't know, Craig. It's a good question. Last year, when the Dodgers were in Korea, I think that's where they started the season, I did one of those 2 early morning, late night, overnight games. I don't know if that's going to work out this year or not. So I'll try to do one of those two against the Cubs in China, Japan. I don't know exactly where they are this year. But if not, then it'll be the third regular season game back here on terra firma, or the United States. Yeah, Japan, right. So I'm going to try to do one of those two, depending on how the scheduling works out. But if not, then the third regular season game of the season, right after they play the Angels in another preseason spring training game, which we all think is very weird. I don't understand really why they do that. They claim it's because of the travel, but I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, they play the Cubs twice in Japan, and they come back to America, and then they play the Angels in another preseason game. And then they start the regular season again here in America. So that's how it goes. And I'll be doing the postcast at least on game number 3, but maybe on one of 2 on those early games against the Cubs. So there you go. Thanks for that, Craig. Appreciate it. That's all for tonight. Clippers lose 127-120. Back at it tomorrow against the Miami Heat right here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. We appreciate you watching and listening, and take care. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow.